Hey, hey, hey.
How we doing, guys? All right, we are back to being 600 miles away from each other. We're
Yeah.
gonna rock and roll. We may have another joint one coming up next month. We're trying to work it out to where I get back down up there to Midlothian, so that should be a lot of fun. And looking forward to that. But today we're going to do a little less on the forms because I think people are getting a little tired of seeing those. We will be preparing a class very soon on the changes that went into effect in September to make sure you guys know what they are and know what to look for on those and understand the most up-to-date form and how to explain that to your clients. But don't want to do that today because Ken has a really cool PowerPoint idea. I want to go over just explaining notes and the importance of them and how they work. So Ken, take it away, and then when you're ready, share your screen.
Okay, will do. So a couple things to start with is one of the things I honestly believe, and I think that if you'll actually take advantage of it, is that a handwritten note is the most inexpensive thing you'll ever do that will create you the most income you'll ever make. Okay, I'm just telling you, if you guys will send handwritten notes to everybody, we're going to go through pieces of that. Now, what I want you guys to do is, and I know this looks pretty antiquated, but this is my little bag. Okay, this little baggie stays in my briefcase at all points in time. Okay, it's got all kinds of stuff in it. It's got my business card that goes inside my handwritten note. Right, it's got a handwritten note inside of it. Right, yeah. It's got I like these little stickers as I'm never too busy for your referral sticker in it that goes inside my handwritten note. Okay, it's got envelopes in it. It's got stamps in it. So I have all this stuff with me at any given time inside my briefcase. And the reason I keep it with me that way is because I believe that if you'll learn how to utilize time that other people waste, it'll make you a fortune, right? So let's say you're at the doctor's office and you're sitting around. Everybody that you're sitting around in the doctor's office, as you look through there, you're going to see this. They're all going to have their phone, right? And they're all going to be doing this. They're looking at it. They're doing Facebook. Nobody's doing anything productive. Nobody's even talking to each other. Now they all have freaking masks on and nobody's even having a conversation with each other, right? They're all just doing this. So instead of sitting there doing that, why don't we just, open up our little database in our phone, which could be as simple as just, your call list of contacts of the people you know, and reach into our briefcase, pull our bag out, and scratch out somebody a really simple handwritten note. I mean, that time, now you're utilizing time you're going to waste that had nothing to do with, now you're being productive with it. Okay. So think about that. Keep that stuff with you. You can't write the note if you don't have the stuff with you. Right. We think about the notes. We think we should do it on every desk. I actually have 4 different desks. One, I have 2 desks at the office. I have a couple desks at home. And on every desk I have has everything I need to write a note. It has business cards. It has notes. It has envelopes. It has stamps. And it has my referral stickers. And every desk I have has that on it. So if I sit down somewhere or I have a phone call, Andrew and I pick up the phone. Like, here's a prime example. I mean, this is when you write a note, right? So I was looking on Facebook last night, and I saw, and I hope this is not a big deal to you, Andrew, or a problem for you, but I saw his daughter was playing volleyball and hurt her arm, right? Right. That's the perfect time for me to write a note. Man, I'm so sorry to hear about your daughter's arm. I hope everything works out all right. If there's anything I can do, just let me know. That's the note, guys. That's how hard it is. What did that take? Took us less than 10 seconds to say it. Took me maybe 30 seconds to write it, right? And put it in and send it. Now, when he gets that note, what's he going to do? He's going to go, I mean, I know everybody saw it on Facebook, but Kent's the only one that actually took the time to think about me and my family and write something and send it to me, right? I mean, it's a beautiful thing, guys.
No, absolutely. And I'll tell you, I will be spending a lot of time wasted in the hospital soon because we went to the urgent care. They give us a splint. Now I've got to find an orthopedic person to go and actually cast it and play that game and make sure it's how bad it is. So it's being a parent sucks sometimes. You gotta deal with all the fun and.
But now when she's in there in the back and they won't let you go in because of COVID, what should you have? You should have a little bag like this. so that you can sit down and write everybody some handwritten notes, right?
And I'll tell you, anytime I'm not as religious as I should be, and I'm definitely not as religious as Kent, but anytime I have taken the time, wrote the note, done the things, I was doing what I could to be very strong about it for a while, and I was very religious about getting them out, getting them done, and the response that I received from everyone was just, it's insane how excited people get when they receive a handwritten note.
It's nuts.
It really is.
Yeah, it's just nuts, guys. If you will just think about it and do it. Just here's the deal: it's and I'm going to pull the PowerPoint up here in a second, but just think about this. If I talk to you on the phone and we have a conversation that you say anything in there that makes me click and go, I should write you a note. I should just go, oh man, Andrew's daughter, hurt her arm. That's a note. Hey, I was talking to Nick, and Nick said, hey, we just bought a new car. Really? That's something I can write a note. Anything like that gives me the opportunity to write the note. If you're a real estate agent and you're not writing notes to the people that sit at the front counter at the title company, you're crazy, man, because they're the ones that get stuff done for you. And they're the ones that don't ever get any recognition. Everybody goes, I have the best closer in the entire world. No, you got a closer who has the best staff in the entire world. Yeah. I mean, Andrew and I could sit there and close the thing. It's just signing documents. It's how do you get it to the point where it's ready to sign, and that's those person that's sitting in the front, or they're the ones that never get recognition. And if you recognize those people, guys, you're going to get so much out of it. So let me see if I can do this here. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. So I'm going to share, and I'm going to
now just go to that, wherever that screen is, just go to it now.
Can you see it there?
I cannot yet. Wait. All right, we're there. I can see it.
Okay, so that's my desktop, and you can see that on my desktop I have all the things we need there. I have note cards, I have stickers, I have stamps, I have everything we need to get through that, right? So that's the things you have to be prepared to write the note, right? And just look at the note. Just the note itself is not very big. You see, it's only about 4 lines, and I write really big and really sloppy, and I print everything, right? And so, but that's okay. It's not about that. It's about the fact of doing it. All right. So the next thing you got to do is go, okay, so what do I need? So I need note cards, I need stamps, I need, oh, by the way, stickers, I need business cards, and then I need access to my database. So if that can be either through an app on your phone or however you do that. So that's kind of how that works, right? All right. And so when do I write a note? I write a note following a call. So, it was wonderful talking with you today. I appreciate you keeping up mind. If you know of anyone who's interested or is looking into opportunities to buy in this market, please let me know. I mean, their notes are simple, guys. They're not, you don't have to try to be some big visionary or anything like that. Just write a simple note, and write the note about what it was. Can't wait to talk with you soon. You do that. So after the call, that's when you do it. It was terrific talking with you this week. I'm so glad you enjoyed the information on the remodeling. So I'd sent out, what had happened is we've stuck to the 5 things we've always talked about: calls, notes, pop buys, items of value, email. And so what I had done at this point was I had already sent out the information for the month on remodeling. So in this one, I'm just saying, I'm glad you got an opportunity to look at the information I sent you on the remodel, right? So that just gives me another reason to write the note. I mean, you want to write a note because you have a reason. So you have to do things to create the reason, which is the phone call or send out the item of value or do a pop buy, something that puts you in that position to make that note come through, all right? So following a pop buy. It's great to see you today. Thanks for taking a little time with me to catch up. That's all it is. You're not trying to go crazy. You're not trying to do anything. You're just trying to get locked a little bit deeper in their mind. So now I've written this note that goes through there. So that's a simple note on how to do a follow-up after you follow a pop by. All right. So as I go through this, you'll find out that I write a note after everything. Okay, so this is a critical one. Thanks for the referral. So thank you for the referral to Bob and Linda. You can be confident that I'll take excellent care of them. Your trust and support are greatly appreciated. All my best. Okay. Now I'm going to send that note, and the instant I get the referral, not if they close, not if they do anything. When the referral is sent to me, that note's going to go out. I personally drop a little $5 gift card in there for Starbucks or Sonic or something, but you can do whatever you want. But I always reward the action of the referral, the act of doing it, not when it's done, the instant they do it. So, keep that in mind. But think about it. I didn't write some big long, note about it. Just simple, thank you for the referral. You can be confident I'll take excellent care of them. Your trust and support is greatly appreciated. That's all it's got to say. It doesn't have to be more than that, guys. So be sure anytime that somebody sends you a referral, that's the number one. If you don't write any other note, you have to write that note. That's the note that's going to create the next referral. So make sure that you're doing that for sure. Right? Thanks for the great service. So you have somebody that came out and you had an inspection done, and there was a problem with the hot water heater, and we got to get it fixed today. And the only way we're going to get this thing closed is if we get it done. I call my best friend, my best plumber friend, and say, can you drop everything you're doing and come do this so we can close? And he does. Guys, that guy deserves a note. He deserves a handwritten note. So thank you so much for your excellent service. It's obvious that you love what you do. Thank you. It's a great life. Make sure that you're thinking about what I want you to lock into your mind is there's so many opportunities out there for you to write the note that if you'll do it, it will create business down the road. But you got to be thinking about it. When somebody does something great for you, you need to make sure that you put it in writing, put it in the mail, and send it to them. Okay. Now, one of the things before I go any further, I just kind of popped into my head is that let's say you got a plumber there and you don't really know his mailing address, right? So how do I get that mailing address? Well, a couple things that you got to think of. First and foremost, I never ask anybody for their home address. I can get that through any type of tax service out there that we look at. So that's simple to do. But what I really want to know is if I'm talking to Andrew and I'm like, I need to send something to him in the mail. What I'm going to say is this. I got a simple dialogue. Hey, Andrew, if I was going to send you something in the mail, where would I send it? He may tell me his home address. He may say, oh, well, we have a P.O. box. I come from a kind of rural community, and about, I'd say, a fifth of my database has P.O. boxes, doesn't even have a mailbox at their house. So make sure you don't want to waste a 55-cent stamp and the time of writing the note and all that to send it somewhere where it's not going to get attended to, right? You don't want to get it sent back.
Well, and for office, if you're passing it to an agent or things, there's a lot of agents that don't make it to the office very often.
Exactly.
So if you're sending a note to an office, it could sit there for weeks or months because even if they show up, they're not checking their mailbox or doing things as well.
Exactly. So so I always just say, where's the best place for me to send it, right? Because like for me, it needs to come to my office. If you send it to my house, my wife looks at the mail at home. I've got an Amazon account and a credit card. I don't need anything else. So that's the only thing that comes in the mail. They're either trying to sell me something or give me another credit card, and I don't need either one of them. So if you want to send me something you're going to read, it needs to come to my office. And so you got to just ask people that. So make sure that you do that. Here's another one. Here's one that I think people really drop the ball on big. Is like, I meet somebody, say we're at the football game on Friday night, and I meet somebody and do the mayor campaign and get them to be part of my database. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate or had a friend or family member, do you have a real estate agent you'd use? And they say, no. Great. Would you like to join my client appreciation program? And they say, well, what does that mean? So I explain it to them. It's a call, it's a note, it's an item of value. It's just, information that comes up, right? So now I've got an opportunity to write a note. Thanks for joining my database. we're glad to have you. It's a great group of people. I'm excited to get to include you. So, I mean, there's all these simple reasons to be able to do it. Okay, so this is one of my favorites, and I know the business is really moving fast right now, but prior to a listing presentation, if somebody calls me and says, "Hey, Kent, I'm interested in selling my house. We're thinking about," I mean, first thing I'm going to do is handwrite them a note and send it over because I'm promising you, nobody else is doing that. All right. So be sure prior to a listing presentation, and if you can't get it, if you have to be there so fast, be sure you do one when you leave the listing presentation. Be sure and thank them for the opportunity to look and be a part of their life. Okay. Again, that's my next slide. Immediately after the listing presentation, right? Even if they're not ready to make a decision, go ahead and write them a note. Don't let a potential seller go by without you doing the extra things that they need to do. I was looking on Facebook, I don't know, last night or something, and a real estate agent popped up and said the 10 things you need to know about doing a listing, about listing your house. And it said, number 1, call me. The other 9, I'll take care of.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, exactly, right. So, how great. So that's kind of the note, is thank you for giving me the opportunity. I've got number 1 taken care of. The other 9, just let me handle. If they list it, as soon as they list it, be sure and send them a note. Say, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to list your home. And so anytime during the listing you get opportunity, this is a really good one. Especially, I know listings are moving fast right now. But in the normal world, it's not always going to be the way it is right now. It's sometimes it might go a couple of weeks before they get it. A nice little handwritten note during that couple of weeks, even if it's under contract, is just going to tell them how much you. Because remember, all those people want to know is, can I trust you? Are you good at your job? And do you care about me? Okay, I'm telling you, a handwritten note locks in the fact to them that they know that you care about them. And if you care about them, they're going to send you referrals. So send them any opportunity you get. And I know I'm beating a dead horse here, but it's kind of a big deal, right? If you go out and you do caravans or you do MLS tours, when you go by and look at those other agents, here's what we know: agents that list houses, right? There's way fewer agents that list houses than have buyers, right? So I want the agents that list houses to want me to be the person that brings them the buyer. Okay? So how do I do that? It's by building a relationship with them. So how do I build that relationship with them? Well, one of the ways is if they have a house that's out there on the MLS tour or the caravan, I'm gonna, after we're done, I'm gonna say, man, what a great listing at 123 Main Street. That was awesome. Hope so. I've got a buyer, or I hope I can get you a buyer, and I'm gonna send them a note. Now, when that happens, they're going to go, wow, Kent, he's pretty good. He's a pretty good guy. I think, I've got 7 offers here, but, they're all pretty close. I'm talking to my seller going, yeah, this is a good guy. He's going to get it done and he's going to take care of us. Why? Because I took 30 seconds of my life and wrote to my handwritten note.
And Ken, I'll tell you, in this market, more often than not, that relationship is what's deciding if your buyer gets your contract accepted or not.
100% agree with that. Yeah. If you go to an open house, and you're and there's an agent in there, send that agent a little note that says, "Hey, man, what a great open house." I mean, this stuff is not really hard, guys. It's just you got to think about every opportunity that you have to do one. We talked about during the listing. Be sure and go and do that. Okay. Here's the one and this is where I think most people drop the ball big time, is with buyers. I don't think that people do a very good job of doing a needs determination with a buyer to find out what it is they're really looking for. I don't think that they have a true buyer's presentation. So if you're a buyer and you're going to come sit down with me, I've got a pre-built presentation for a buyer, just like I have a pre-built presentation for a listing. All right. I want that buyer to feel important and feel that I know they're important, right? Because they only want to know, can I trust you? You good at your job? You care about me, right? So that's an important thing. So once we get through that, then I'm going to go ahead and just drop them a little note that says, hey, thank you so much for coming in and spending time with me. I look forward to helping your family meet their needs. Okay. Okay. Once you're out there working with them and you go show, you 5 or 6 houses to them during that time, if you spent all Saturday long with a couple in your car running around looking at houses, that afternoon might be a great time to remind them how you get paid through a handwritten note. Because a lot of them think you just get paid to run around show them. And you need to remind them that you get paid due to your referrals. That's why you always put, oh, by the way, I'm never too busy for your referral. Changes everything. Okay. Once they close, that's the most important time to send them one. Because right now, when somebody closes a house, you get a great opportunity to talk to them about how do you go to that next referral, somebody that they know, because they're not going to talk about real estate any more in their lifetime than they are during the transaction. So make sure that you're taking care of it, right? Same thing with the seller. When you go to escrow on the seller, get them a note. Congratulations on the accepted offer. They got the offer in. Send them a note that lets them know. You might even attach the contract to it and send that with it, right? And then this is kind of just a little bit of bonus material I have for you. Okay. That's a birthday card. That's a card I send out to all kinds of people. You can see it. If you can see it real well, that's a bush with a tie on it. And that's a bush with some pearls around their neck. So that's the Bushes. That's my last name, by the way, if you hadn't figured that out. And so the Bushes personally want to wish you a happy birthday. So I can now send the card out without really dropping in a business card or anything like that and remind them who I am, but put the card. And I learned this lesson from a great agent here in the Midlothian area. And, she told me, said, because I said, how come you list more houses than everybody else when we're all doing the same thing? She said, well, I said, what do you do that's different? And she said, well, maybe I send 800 birthday cards a year, and that she'll get 3 to 5 phone calls a week on people that say, you're the only person that actually sent me a birthday card. Now, 700 of them will do it on Facebook, but only one person actually wrote out and sent them a birthday card. Isn't that crazy? So doing that is critical. So I'm going to stop sharing here real quick and go back to this and tell you. Now, another little trick that we'll do that I think makes the most sense in the world is what we call adopt a client. All right. So I have a buyer, right? And I brought my buyer to your listing up, Andrew, right? Right. So you come in, you're with another company. I don't know you. I'm not competing. I'm not doing anything to interfere with any of the agents in my office. So what I'm going to do at that point in time is once you purchase the home that I had listed, right, I'm going to handwrite a note to the person that's moving in. And I'm going to say this, because once the contract's done and sold, everybody's free game at that point in time, right? So I'm going to just write a little handwritten note, say, hey, thank you for such a smooth transaction. I've been in this area for my entire life. If you need to know the best restaurant, the best doctor, the best veterinarian, auto mechanic, whatever it is you need to know, don't hesitate to pick the phone up and give me a call, right? I'm here to serve you. You'll be amazed at what that will do to change your business. Because most real estate agents, and it's the thing that breaks my heart the most, is most real estate agents will come in and somebody will walk in and say, I want to list my house. And my first question is always, what agent sold it to you? And they're like, I don't remember. And I want to die right there on the spot. Like,
as a broker, one of the big issues that I used to have a lot is also, hey, I'm selling my house. Who's your agent? I don't remember their name.
Yeah.
And you don't know who's helping you right now?
Yeah. It's just, it's nuts, man. And why is that? It's because we quit doing our job. We quit doing something as simple as picking up a piece of paper, writing, hi, how are you? I miss you. Putting a stamp on it and sending it in the mail. If you'll do that once a month, every month for every person that you've ever sold a house to, guys, I'm going to tell you, your business will triple in a matter of no time, because all people want is just a little recognition and a little bit of, somebody saying, thank you for being a part of what we do. It's not that difficult, right? We all want to overthink it. We all want to go, hey, how can I jump online and let everything be 100% automated? And I don't have to, I don't have to have any paper anymore. Everything's paperless, So we got all this transactional things going on out there. Everything's a transaction. And I got news for you. The money is in the relationship every time, and I've been around this a long time. I've been around sales my entire life. And from the day I got into sales till this day right now, all you ever see is people trying to automate and eliminate steps. Okay. How can we make this more streamlined? Well, I can tell you right now, calls, notes, pop buys, items of value, emails. That's how you streamline this thing. 5 things. I'm not asking you to do 500 things. I'm asking you to do 5 things. Okay. And the number one thing, if you don't do any of the other 5, if you will just take the time to sit down and handwrite that note, right? The handwritten note is the most inexpensive thing you'll ever do. It'll make you the most money you'll ever make. And I know that sounds like a cliche. It's a fact, right? And so one of these days, I'll send the link out. I'll get it to Andrew, see if we get posted somewhere where it's actually George H. Bush. And his entire life, he wrote 10 handwritten notes a day. And there's no telling who. Some to his wife, some to the people he's working with in his office, some to other diplomat, whoever, even before. But he wrote 10 handwritten notes every single day, right? 5 days a week. Now think about that. This is the president of the United States, probably the most scheduled person in the entire world, right? There may be nobody in this entire world that has a more full schedule that's done minute by minute, not hour by hour or 30 minute by minute in their entire life. And this guy had time to write 10 handwritten notes a day. Now, if that's the case, what gives you the excuse not to do it? Right? I mean, think about that, So, all right, man. Hey, I don't know. That wasn't very long, but that was my 2 cents worth there, buddy.
It wasn't, but some people don't have an hour sometimes, so there's no reason we have to go hours every day. And it's such a valuable point. I mean, you receive a handwritten note, you don't throw it away. Mm-hmm. I have a drawer full of handwritten notes where you're like, you even go to there, you're like, oh, I can't throw this away. And we fight. We want it to be harder. We want it to be more difficult. We want it to be more streamlined. But at the end of the day, that's, it's like, what do I do? I had agents go through and do the simple old school stuff and get 6 listings in one night. Yeah. Never did it again.
Yeah.
And we tell a story. It's like, man, you did that? Yeah. Did you ever do it again? No. Why not? Oh, it was hard. What was hard? Making a phone call. Yeah. Making a phone call was hard. Yeah. In 2000, at the time, it wasn't. This was years ago, back when we still used, the phone book to make money. And we actually talking about that today. The jokes. Yeah. I mean, how we spend money in this business has changed so drastically over the years. The phone book used to be one of our top marketing expenses. The newspaper used to be one of our crazy top marketing expenses. And now the thought of giving the newspaper a $350,000 a year contract is insane.
Yeah.
And I remember the day we stopped, the newspaper told us you'll be out of business in 2 years if you stop using us. And that newspaper went from 40 pages to 30 pages to 20 pages to, I think it's now a page and a half. Yeah. If it's not all online. And you just sit there and you're like, we need to change, we need to adapt. But the things that will never change or adapt is the relationships. People want to have that comfort level. Not all. Some people definitely do not and want to be fast and move. But more often than not, you're going to get a whole lot more business and repeat business from creating and working those relationships. It's huge. I do not compete against my agents. I do not market. I do not. All of my business, and last year Nick and I did 4 million, is purely from relationships.
Absolutely.
100% was from people that I know and who know me, trust me, and like me, saying, "Hey, man, I'm ready. Let's sell. I'm ready. Let's buy." That's where my business comes from. I do not do advertising. I do not do office duty and take the calls when that come in. It's purely relationships with people I work with, and that's because I've accumulated them. I understand their values and I understand their needs, and I make sure when I work with them that they're going to be satisfied and happy, and they're going to tell their friends.
Let's think about this, Andrew. So if that's the case, right, and we know it is, right? So if that's the case, what if we woke up with intention every day to focus on nurturing that?
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's true. There's a fantastic book out there about managing the whirlwind, and the problem real estate agents have. Everyone has a different word for it, but I mean, the problem is everybody gets up every morning with plans of grandeur, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to knock out the world. One of my top agents I was talking to this morning, she's like, I spent all week trying to do this, and I haven't been able to get it done because the whirlwind gets in the way. The phone calls, the showings, the emergencies, the nightmares, the emails, and we've got to understand the whirlwinds are going to always be there. We've got to do what needs to be done.
Right.
And that's the difficulty. And it's easy to put off the stuff you really don't want to do. If I got to put something off, I'm going to put off the stuff I don't want to do first.
Well, and I know you've heard me say this a million times, and I'll say it a million more times when you're around me. But lead generation will make you wealthy. Everything else is worth $10 an hour. That's just the facts. So if that's the facts, then that needs to be the number one priority in our daily routine, right? I mean, we can take care of writing an amendment. We can take care of getting something done through an option period, or we can take care of all that, right? But we have to take that set time every day that we've established to say, I'm going to go market my business during this time, and I'm going to do it. And whether it's calls, notes, the things that you got to do, you have to make that the priority in your business, period. Because I've watched millions of, not million, but lots and lots and lots of agents, right? So it seems like millions.
Yeah. We go through and I've been a manager, broker, owner since 2005.
Yeah.
And the amount of agents I've seen go through the academy, go through the offices, go through my office, it's heartbreaking in a way because it's not you said it perfectly earlier. It's not a hard job. We try to make it look a lot more difficult than it is. We try to make it a lot more difficult than it is.
Wow.
But the problem is it's a job that requires you to actually work, and no one's going to tell you have to work.
Right.
And that a lot of people can't handle. And it's sales. You could have the hard thing for being a broker. I could look at two guys and I could look at a guy and say, man, this guy looks the part, he dresses the part, he drives the right car, he's going to kill it. And that guy can't sell a house to save his life.
Nope.
Then you look like another person, you're like, what the heck? And that person just rocks it because we can't sell anything until we can sell ourselves. And if you're selling a fake truth or you're selling nervousness or whatever it is, it doesn't work. I had an agent one time. He was just shy of 400 pounds, only wore T-shirts that had cigarette holes in them because he smoked like a chimney. He was 22 years old. And you look at this kid and you're like, this kid is going to starve to death. And he rocked it because he was insanely smart. He was going into school to be an engineer and killed it and was so confident and knew his stuff and was so successful at what he was doing. You're like, he almost said, I'm giving up engineering. Didn't fall in love with it. He left us and became an engineer with the military. But I mean, you look at him, you'd be like, this guy's not going to do very well. Mm-hmm. You have another guy, just looks the part, acts the part, former military, drives a nice car, and you're like, this guy's going to kill it, and just floundered for years because who knows? And it's just one of those things that in this business, there's no guarantees on who's going to make a good salesperson or not.
Right. Well, here's what I would say about that is that I can guarantee you they're going to be a good salesperson if they do the 5 things we talk about. The ones that don't do that are going to struggle, you know. And it's interesting, you know, I've had agents come in. I had an agent that moved in from Ohio and moved into our small little community here. She knew one person in the community, and that was her husband that moved into from Ohio with her. Yeah. You know, 3 years later, she's walking across stage with a gold trophy in her hand. Right? You know, how is that? She made it a priority in her life to create relationships. And when you create relationships, relationships will lead. Zig Ziglar says this, right? You help enough other people get what they want, you're going to get what you want, right? Yeah. So if you learn, so what does that mean? That means I'm going to go out and I'm going to help you with the things you need. I don't care if it's finding somebody to mow your grass, watch your kids, wash your dog, whatever. I'm going to be the guy that helps you do that, right? So I'm going to just continue to help people do things that they need to do. I'm always listening for an opportunity to give you what I would consider a referral. You know, somebody, you know, if I was in El Paso and I would have found out about Andrew's daughter, I promise you, I've had enough surgeries on my knee. I have an orthopedic surgeon that I would refer to Andrew, right? Right? Why? Because he has a need, and I got somebody I trust, right? And I would send them that way. You know, that's just a simple thing, you know. But if I wasn't thinking about it and I wasn't listening to what Andrew was doing, I wouldn't know to do that, right? But when I do it, now what does he remember? You know, he remembers, man, Kent went out of his way because he saw something happen and went out to try to take care of me and my family. Now, if somebody says the word real estate, who is Andrew going to call?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's how simple this is, guys. I mean, you know, we try to make this all just so hard. You know, one of my favorite things to say is this: is that, you know, this is not rocket science. You know, we're not trying to put a man on the moon and bring him home safely in this decade. You know, Robert Kennedy is not trying to talk us into doing something. We're trying to help people buy somebody you know lives somewhere. Everyone, not some of them. They all live somewhere, right? Yeah. So if that's the facts, you know, then every person that you run into every day has the opportunity at some point in time to either move or give you a referral of somebody they know that's moving. Right? I mean, think about it. You know, this is not a small group of people. It's everybody you know. So write them notes, man. You know, tell them you love them. Let them know that you know, they can trust you. You're good at your job and you care about them. If you'll do those 3 things, you know, you'll get to live the good life. And that's what we're all looking for.
Absolutely. And I guess, you know, at the end of the day, do something. You know, it's so easy in this time frame, in this industry, in the world we're in right now, to just stop. Don't stop. Do something. Do it well. You know, it's like they say, what's the greatest motivational help book? The one you read and follow. Exactly. What's the greatest equipment? The one you use. You know, what's the best workout equipment? The one that makes you do it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the sad truth is you just got to do what you got to do. So, absolutely, guys, get out there, write the notes, and I promise you, almost immediately you will get feedback. Almost every handwritten note I've ever written, when they receive it, I get a phone call. Like, that was so cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah, because it's such a lost art. I mean, everybody's gotten so in tune to thinking that a text message or Facebook is the same as a written note, and it's just not. Remember, guys, it's as simple as this. It's the act of doing it. It's the fact that you took time out of your life to sit down and think about that person and write something down, put it in an envelope, and send it in the mail. I mean, it's a simple act, but it's an act that other people just are not doing anymore. So have fun, do good, write notes, make a bunch of money, and hang out with us again next week.
Absolutely. And next week, we're really excited. Hopefully, everything's going to work out. The stars are going to align, and we're going to have a really great class about forming teams, team structures, and different ideas that you can do. We're really excited to get this class going because I think a lot of people have questions, have thoughts, have fears. You know, we'll talk about some of the problems we've seen with, as managers, both of us, I can tell you horror stories of partnerships gone sour, and the difference between what a partnership is and what a team is, and how those things can make your business better and more effective. So really looking forward to next week.
Whether or not it's the right move for you. I mean,
and at the right time.
Move for, and other people, it's just not.
And it may not be the right time, right at this time, but it may be later.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. So
really looking forward to that one. I think it's going to be a lot of fun and very interesting for a lot of people. So we're excited about it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Appreciate it.
All right, buddy.